Walker's thoughts on the Hornets' 1-1 record this week, and we live the Hive Life today on Fun Friday on the Locked On Hornets podcast.
You are Locked On Hornets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
In a minute, cuz we live.
It's Locked On Hornets. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. Local experts on the #1 daily sports podcast network. Thanks for making Locked On Hornets your first listen every day. We are free, and we're available on all platforms. This episode is brought to you by Truebill. Truebill is the new app that saves you money by helping you identify and stop paying for the subscriptions you don't want or need, and can even negotiate better deals on those you want to keep. Follow us on Twitter. We're on Twitter at Locked On Hornets. Also, Walker Mail, Doug Branson, LOH, and David joining us for Fun Fridays. As always, you can find him on Twitter at David B. Walker. David, appreciate the time once again. How are you doing?
I'm great, guys. Fun Friday is back, baby. Let's do this.
Hive Live, too, as well.
Oh, yes, of course. Hive Live.
Hive Life at the end, and we're going Hive Live right now. And, man, if you guys are going to bring the same sauce that you did last time, then we've got, I just want to address some of that stuff. You know, the YouTube comments, I have realized ever since we have gone to a visual medium, I didn't realize that some of the comments were going to be a little bit crazier there than on Twitter. I thought Twitter was the king of the crop when it came to the crazy comments, but no, YouTube, I had no recollection. I didn't know.
Which comments? Where do we go?
I mean, just the standing for certain players, the back and forth, the letting things fly, the expletives, the opinions. YouTube is right there. I mean, YouTube is right there with Twitter, and I didn't realize that was the case.
Well, I got
curate Twitter a little bit more. I feel like, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I got bad news for the YouTube commenters. You can't hurt me. I lived through the Jeremy Lin days. Those commenters were way
the
crazy.
Lin Hive is unbeatable, undefeated.
Listen, Ball Hive, especially LiAngelo Ball Hive, the people that want LiAngelo Ball to play and start and score 20 points in the NBA. Those dreamers.
I want that too.
I appreciate your energy, but you've got nothing on the Jeremy Lin stands.
Oh no! Those are pros. They've been doing it. They've been in the game a long time.
and they follow wherever he goes. Obviously, I imagine the same would be for the Ball stands as well. But Jeremy Lin, I was just a little late to the game when I didn't have to deal with any of the Jeremy Lin stands. I was still somewhat new to social media, but I only hear horror stories from that.
That's why we have a majority of our followers right now, I think, Doug. Right?
That's why I'm in therapy. That's why I'm in therapy.
Dead Lin stand accounts on Twitter.
Man, well, hopefully we can ride this wave okay with the Ball stands. But man, Jeremy Lin, at least we don't have to deal with that anymore. All right. LaMelo Ball, we'll see if he can play tonight against the Portland Trailblazers. They did recall him, and so the Hornets are getting a lot healthier. We'll see if he plays. He's questionable to play tonight against the Trailblazers because of health and safety protocols. Hopefully he can, because they're going to need they're going to need their star, and LaMelo has become one of their best players. We want this win because it's the most winnable game of the next 4 that we have on this road trip. Doug, I know you and I have talked about how we'll be okay if the Hornets go 2-4 on this road trip. If they go 3-3, that's fantastic. I consider that a huge win for the Hornets on this road trip. If you go 2-4, I'll be just happy with that as well. We'll see if LaMelo comes back, and if he does, the kind of minutes that he'll play tonight against the Trailblazers. But they've been able to go 1-1. Embarrassing loss to the Dallas Mavericks to start the week. Nice win against the Spurs, where everybody basically except Kelly Oubre played well. Gordon led that charge with 41 points. David, we'll start with you. What did you think of the 2 games that you saw this week from the Charlotte Hornets?
Yeah, I'm glad there's only one more game against Dallas. I think that is just apparently the worst matchup possible for the Hornets. I thought we had
except for
past.
the Sixers and the Mavs.
I mean, we're not setting NBA records for margin of victory and loss though with the Dallas, with the Sixers. I mean, yeah, we have moved past the preseason debacle, only to be reminded of it. But it was good to see him bounce back against the Spurs. Really good, obviously, to see Gordon Hayward just be really aggressive, right? I mean, he was obviously on fire and looking for his shot. But that's kind of the missing piece that would really help this team get over the hump once they get everybody back healthy. If they can throw it to Hayward and say, go get us a bucket, and he's done that some, but he's gotten a lot of criticism for quiet games out there, and it's just good to see him kind of explode, even though still not good enough for some people. It doesn't matter who he does it against, but I think that you could tell he was hunting his shot. They were feeding him, and he's still that type of player that can go get you 30, 40, not every night, but certainly has that ability. So that was the big takeaway from the Spurs game, other than just the whole team was on fire. It was a record. It was nice to be one of those teams that scores 40 in the first quarter as opposed to giving up 40.
Yeah, I mean, Gordon does things so efficiently and so quietly sometimes that it's easy to underappreciate his value to the franchise in general, and you have to take into account the fact that Gordon Hayward will be a significant playoff producer. He's been there. He knows the deal. That kind of experience will help the Hornets generally. But you also need Gordon Hayward to do what he did against the Spurs every once in a while, just to remind us, just to say, hey guys, I can still do this. I know how to take over a game, and when you call my number, I will be available. And so that's what he did. He needs to do it more often, I think, as the season goes on, and he'll be okay. In terms of LaMelo Ball, I mean, listen, his return will, I think, completely change the dynamic of this offense. I think it will help them defensively in terms of being able to turn teams over and get into transition. We talked about it on the last show. We've been missing his rebounding. He's the team's leading rebounder, which is insane. So hopefully he gets back tonight, because I think the Hornets, it would be great to get a win here. I think, yes, they've been in survival mode for a long time, but if they take 3 of 4, all of a sudden, I think the Hornets, put a statement down and say, hey, we're back and we can contend in the East. They have that opportunity against a few really good Western Conference teams.
Yeah, you look up today, they're in 6, right, in the Eastern Conference, and that changes. That's very fluid with how the East stacks up. But the Hornets are flying under the radar as much as you can right now with how well I think they've handled their COVID outs. A lot of that has to do with LaMelo Ball not being in the lineup. They tend to fade into the background of conversations if he's not out there. But they handled that as well as they could. It would have been nice to get a couple of those wins, especially at home against the Sixers, one of those. But you're right, Doug. I mean, that's why that win against the Spurs was so big. This is a big road trip. It's going to be challenging, even with a full squad. So to get LaMelo back, he's also coming back to a team that now has options they know they can go to. They may not need to break the glass on Book Knight and JT Thor and guys like that, but they've seen them play, right? So he's coming back to a team that's all of a sudden gotten a little more experience for guys who hadn't even played before. So that's got to be a big boost for him too.
Yeah, and we appreciate people in the chat right now. Tyler Dickerson putting in, if Gordon is able to stay aggressive once LaMelo is back, it takes the Hornets to another level. And I think that aggression is something that you hear constantly with Gordon Hayward, and that's even from a James Borrego. He constantly mentions that after a game in which he scores a lot of points, it's important for him to stay that way. But it's going to be tough, especially when LaMelo Ball comes back in, has the basketball in his hands quite a bit. And now I wonder, we're going to have the same type of opinions that we used to have about Gordon once LaMelo was here. Miles Bridges has developed a lot, and you're seeing the Hornets get better because of that development, and LaMelo Ball included. And then you have Best Impact. He writes into the chat, tell me one big game in which Gordon showed up. He is more than expendable. He is paid $30 million, and he's just a role player. And I think the contract is what skews people's opinion of him way more than anything else, because a role player scoring 18 points a game, shooting 47 from the field and 40 from 3, also being a nice facilitator, I'll take that any day of the week. There's no doubt. But and here's the thing.
Wait, hold on, Walker. Do you want if you have LaMelo Ball on your team and he's the superstar of the future, do you want Gordon Hayward to dominate the basketball and take away from what LaMelo is? I don't think so. You need someone who can play alongside LaMelo Ball. Now, I agree. The 40-point game that Hayward put up, it's the first time this season that Hayward has led the team in scoring and they've won a basketball game. The other 3 games that he led the team in scoring, they lost all 3 of those games. So I agree with Best Impact. We need to see more of these type of performances from Gordon Hayward, but that doesn't discount what Gordon has done for the Hornets this season, being a connector and being able to play alongside LaMelo Ball and make a big impact.
Well, 100%. And I think that there's also no doubt nobody thinks Gordon at this stage in his career is worth $30 million a year. And that was the big problem I had with the contract. I didn't like it when it was made. But now you have LaMelo Ball way ahead of schedule, rookie of the year, and taking a step up in his second season. We know about Miles Bridges. Now this team is at a place where, David, you're describing them as flying under the radar, 2 games above 500. And this year, by the way, I don't know if you guys get this feeling, this season feels a little 2016-ish, where there's not going to be a ton of games separating the 4th seed from the 6th seed, which is a little bit weird because now
seed.
the right to the 10 seed even, but now the 6th seed is what gets an outright playoff spot. And so the Hornets are going to have a legitimate shot. And Gordon Hayward, yeah, he's paid too much money. You can argue all day you want. I won't even disagree with you about how that contract, I guess, could hurt them in the long run. But this year, it goes back to my point from yesterday. I don't know if you can trade Gordon Hayward and get better as a basketball team this season. I don't know how that happens. Maybe in the long run, if you want to trade Gordon Hayward to try to get out from under that deal the last 2 seasons, okay. But this year, do you get better trading Gordon Hayward? I just think the ceiling is with him on the team. I think the ceiling is reached with him playing basketball for this squad.
We'll go back and look to those games when they really got hit by COVID hard. He was leading the team in assists, a couple of those games too. He does more than score, close to 20 points a game. That's a good average. Look back to last year, though, when they were in 4th place in the East, which they hang their hat on. It was a lot to do with how well Gordon was playing, what a big part of this team he was. When they went out, it was the old Miles Bridges, right? And then he blossomed into what he is today. They didn't know they were going to have that option. So I just think you got to get over that they paid that money. He wouldn't be here if they hadn't. They're always going to have to overpay for free agents. We know that. And especially, a marquee free agent like him. You're just going to deal with it right now. And they know that. They're going to have to make some decisions salary cap wise and with the structure of this roster, but that's coming. But right now, no, I think they like that core. I think they like having Gordon there as a veteran presence, as someone who can do a lot of things, and by the way, score 18 points a game.
Well, yeah, and real quickly, best impact, basically using a couple points that Oubre gives you the same production, but that's only scoring, and we had a nice 12-game stretch from him, really. But Gordon Hayward or Kelly Oubre played, I think, 18 minutes this last outing. I've said this a million times. Kelly Oubre is only helping you if he's making shots. Gordon Hayward's helping you in different ways on the basketball court, even if he's not making shots. And I think that's a big time. I think that's a huge deal for the Charlotte Hornets team. If his shot isn't falling, he can give you the assists. Like, Kelly Oubre's not going to give you those assists, man. Like, that's just not his game.
You can't have too many guys who can score that way and just be steady. Just be steady and solid, and you can count on him. And, God love Oubre, but he'll throw up a crazy shot every now and again. Nothing against him. That's kind of his style. That's why he's been able to have these big impacts. But yeah.
Before we go to break, let me set the record straight. Win against Memphis, 118-108. Gordon Hayward, 25 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds in that game. Follow-up game against New York, win 104-96 when the Knicks were winning. 22 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. You fast forward to that great, amazing comeback that they had against Indiana. They win 121-118. And Gordon Hayward had 25 points, 3 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 blocks, 3 steals.
Second half was heavy for him in that one, though. And he didn't really show up early. But
he's come up big in big games. I just think people want to see it a little bit more. They want to see him be more aggressive. We talked about Gordon Hayward being the guardian angel of this team because he just sort of swoops in quietly
the Gordian
and
angel,
saves them
if you will.
when he's needed. He doesn't force the issue, which I think is great when you have LaMelo Ball on your team, who is always going to force the issue, and you want that.
Can we call him the Gordian angel now of this team? Yeah,
that's
Doug,
it. How did you miss that, Doug?
The Gordian angel is what he.
You guys have been working together for a few years. Now.
We stuck the landing on the first segment. We stuck it. Thanks to Tyler Dickerson. Thanks to Best Impact for being in the chat. We appreciate your comments. All right, let's take a quick break, but need to talk to you about Truebill first. You know why free trials renew without your consent? It's a business scam out to get you. Don't let greedy corporations pocket your money. Download Truebill to take control of your subscriptions. Truebill is the new app that helps you identify simplify and stop paying for subscriptions you don't need, want, or simply forgot about. On average, people save up to $720 a year with Truebill. And your Truebill concierge is there when you need them to cancel unwanted subscriptions, so you don't have to. Truebill has over 2 million users and helped save them over $100 million. Don't fall for subscription scams anymore. Start canceling today at Truebill.com/LockedOnNBA. Go right now, Truebill.com/LockedOnNBA. It could save you thousands a year. Truebill.com/LockedOnNBA. Speaking of Kelly Oubre, where is he in the Sixth Man of the Year race this season? Also, let's just go ahead and take an overall look at where everybody is on the awards watch right now. That's coming up next on Locked On Hornets.
This is Locked On Hornets.
And listen, as long as you play James Bouknight, a win will always be in sight.
Thanks for making Locked On Hornets your first listen every day.
Right?
We are free and available.
They'll show some fight.
On all your platforms. Now make your second listen Locked On Bets, your daily one-stop shop for all your gambling needs.
It's time for more of the Locked On Hornets podcast.
One day when I get good at this, I'm going to be able to flow effortlessly through all of your shenanigans in the background, but that was not that day. I couldn't do it. I had to continue to stumble. I had to continue to laugh. And one day I'll be able to go through it without even recognizing your shenanigans.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm just glad Nada was on for that one. It was perfect timing. His face just said it all, the pain, the agony. It was fantastic.
I didn't even see him because I was reading the script. I didn't even see him put that hat in front of the camera, just trying to block you out as much as he possibly could. So nice move from Nada. We appreciate him hopping on with us. We'll have him on again soon. All right, Doug, I know you have the awards watch list. How many Hornets are on there, and what have you noticed from some of these lists that you're looking at?
Yeah, I think it's a good time to check in, see what BetOnline has in terms, our friends at betonline.ag, see what they have in terms of the lines for different big awards this year. NBA Coach of the Year award, James Borrego's on the list, not very high on the list, but they're giving the odds. You can get him at plus 1,600 right now. Monty Williams leads the way, Steve Kerr, J.B. Bickerstaff. We didn't mention him in our amazing Cavs analysis that we had yesterday.
That's why, yeah. That's why you
but
come
Bickerstaff is always good to see a Bickerstaff do well. Billy Donovan, Eric Spoelstra, Quinn Snyder, Steve Nash, and then right below him is James Borrego. So listen, if the Hornets are a 3 or a 4 seed in the East, I think you got to be. I think Borrego has to be in contention there. Nobody on Defensive Player of the Year. Miles Bridges leading the way, Most Improved Player of the Year at plus 175. Behind him, Ja Morant, DeJounte Murray, Jordan Poole, and Anthony Edwards. LaMelo Ball also on the list, few down at plus 1,400.
Sorry, Anthony Edwards, the old freshman to sophomore year leap. I thought we were done with that for Most Improved.
Well, I mean, yeah, they got both Edwards and Ball. Garland on there as well, although I think this is his third season, right?
Yeah, this is his third, I think. But also, we tried to do that for Devontae. We tried to sell the freshman to sophomore campaign.
I know, but that's when everybody went against it.
That's right.
Like, you can't do that. No.
That's true.
People would not even put him in the conversation. So
yeah, he was fifth, and players were out there saying, why isn't Devontae winning? I remember, it was Luka Doncic that was like, why is Devontae not the leader in the clubhouse? But I think he finished fifth that year, if I'm not mistaken. And I even forgot who won it, but it definitely won Devontae.
And for Miles' sake, it's with Ja out, he's probably in the driver's seat right now because he's taking that leap to another level. So,
and this is something too with Miles. It's the primacy bias being there as well, just splashes onto the scene, and he's such an exciting basketball player. He's already in the minds. So he could have a big-time slump. Maybe it doesn't allow him to win, but he's never going to wither away into nothingness. He's always going to be a part of the conversation, and really you could attribute it to just the way that he was able to play the first 10 games of the season. Not that he doesn't deserve it. He's still playing well enough to be right there at the top, but it's just now he's kind of already cemented himself to be a part of the conversation throughout the rest of the season.
Nobody on the Hornets listed for MVP. I think obviously LaMelo Ball would be the only one that could even work his way into contention at this point, but they are not giving him any odds. The last person you can take is Ja Morant at plus 6,600.
Would have been a good one.
Rookie of the Year, obviously no one on there because the rookies haven't gotten much play except for the last few games because of the COVID outages. That's an interesting question that I'd like to ask David. What do you think about Borrego, we saw him against the Spurs. What I thought would happen is he was going to go right back into the veterans, right back into the short rotation, not taking any chances, trying to get wins. Didn't give a look to, I think a few guys got in late in the game because it was a blowout, but no serious looks to any of the rookies. What do you think about that?
It's what I expected to. I mean, the guys played well, and he knows he can go to them if need be. But I still think he's got guys that have proven it, and he's got guys he's getting back. He also needs to get guys that are coming back from the COVID protocol. I guess see how their wind is and see what's going on with them. But yeah, he's going to go back to the guys that are trusted, the guys that are here to make up the core of that team. So not really surprising, but good to know you've got those guys waiting in the wing.
And James Borrego talked about that too when he gave him praise. Talked about James Bouknight after his over 20-point performance against the Kings. He was saying, "Hey, when these guys come back, we'll see what kind of minutes he can get. I'm not sure how it's going to happen." And he also mentioned that with Cody Martin too. When he scored 21 points after that game, he said, I think Cody can even take it to another level. He's a winning player. He makes winning plays every time he's in the game, and we'll see how many minutes he gets once our backcourt is healthy again," which I thought was somewhat interesting. It's not like he was buried on the bench by any means when LaMelo and Terry were healthy and ready to go, but he did talk about that, and so I wonder what kind of minutes restriction or what kind of dwindling down of the minutes we're going to see with Cody once LaMelo is back and once he's 100% quote-unquote fully healthy, whatever that means to a LaMelo.
Well, it's really interesting with both Cody Martin and Kelly Oubre, and this kind of leads right into the NBA Sixth Man of the Year odds that I'll reveal in just a second. But I think the interesting thing about both Cody and Kelly, they both have had performances and stretches this year that I think you would look at and say, man, that deserves a little bit more attention. That deserves maybe even a possible shifting of the starting lineup to work one of these guys in. But it's pretty clear that James Borrego has settled in to a starting lineup when Mason Plumlee is healthy, a starting lineup that he likes for the regular season. But I think what's very beneficial for the Hornets is that when it comes to playoff time and you have to make those strategic adjustments to both minutes and your starting group and your fourth quarter group, Borrego has a wealth of options now that he can tap both offensively and defensively. This is one of the most versatile Hornets teams I've seen in a long time, and those stretches that you're seeing from Cody and Kelly are just part of that. So I love that. And so that leads me into the Sixth Man of the Year. Right now, Tyler Hero is a heavy favorite at -250, followed by Montrezl Harrell at +900. Again, all of these lines coming to us from our friends at betonline.ag. And then right below Montrez, you have Kelly Oubre at +1400.
For the Hero's going to be tough to beat out for that, just from the popular vote. I think
he's a starter. This is I don't like that. I don't like when these weird hybrid 6-man starters.
Well, Harold is in the same boat, really, if you think about it. And he's
man, was it him having won before? I think it was the Sixth Man of the Year award, or was it Most Improved? I think it was Sixth Man of the Year. But that's the thing. It's the who can score a lot award for you that does come off of the bench primarily. Yeah, I don't see anybody winning this thing over Tyler Hero. And Montrez, the fact that once you do it, once you win it or once you're up there in consideration, then it's almost the same thing as we were just talking about with Miles. He's going to be up there no matter what. And so it's funny. Montrezl Harrell was somebody that was not even getting minutes in crucial playoff times for the Lakers, and he was an afterthought. But now he's back playing well with Washington. So I don't see Kelly winning this thing, especially with those two guys in front.
No, I agree. Yeah, I mean, I think it's difficult. The Sixth Man of the Year is a scoring award, so that works to Oubre's favor because that's his specialty. But he's just simply not getting enough minutes to compete with Hero. Now, what would be interesting, I think, is if the Hornets do overtake the Heat in the standings and Oubre keeps up, a pretty electric scoring streak. I think there's an outside chance that it could happen. But I agree that Hero's the heavy favorite.
Yeah. And Doug, you talking about just the versatility of this team. I can't help but we were kind of talking a little bit before we started recording and before we went live, how you look all the way back at when Mitch Kupchak started his tenure with the Charlotte Hornets. There have been a lot of really good moves made by him. And one of the visions that he had and outright told us constantly when he would make these moves is the fact that they wanted to move to a positionless team. Now, too bad that's kind of turned out to also leave you without a center. That's unfortunate, but
that's not what Mitch. That's not what we meant when we wanted to be more versatile and be positionless. We didn't want to lose a position.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, positionless. There's no positions, and there's really not a center on this team. But it's the vision that he wanted to try to build at that time. And you look at LaMelo, a tall point guard. Terry Rozier doesn't really fit that bill as much. He's your shooter that helps you in a different way. But Miles, PJ, Kelly Oubre now being a free agent acquisition, that's the type of vision, especially when you look at the draft in the first round, especially all of those guys having the versatility to do different things because of their bodies. And then you even go to a Jalen McDaniels, who was drafted very late in the second round, who is extremely versatile. That's great. And now you've seen it kind of come to fruition with what Mitch Kupchak was wanting to build.
Yes, we've entered into the modern NBA, finally. I mean, that's what we're screaming for. I mean, geez, these long guys that can run the floor, get out on the wing, defend, have length, or you're right, they can kind of swap them in where they need to. Thank God. Yes, that is the fun basketball we've been screaming for.
So shame on us for trying to go back and get a big guy, honestly. Here we can't have it both ways. Here we are hypocritical. We want the versatility. Oh no, now we do want to actually go get a position. Sorry, Mitch. That's my bad.
because we know that the playoffs are so different. That's why we keep harping on this. Like I think the Hornet, and I believe I said this before, I think the Hornets can be successful in the regular season without making a move for center. I think they could possibly sneak in a home court in the first round if everybody else stays healthy and they keep shooting like this from three. But then it doesn't matter if you have home court, if you're the 4th seed going up against the 5 seed, you're going to get in the playoffs and you're going to get pounded if you don't have some kind of rim defensive threat underneath. So that's what we're afraid of.
Yeah, everything slows down right in the postseason. So that's that's for another day though, Doug. Today is all about, it's a fun Friday. So let's have fun.
It is fun Friday. We're gonna get to Hive Life in just a second, and right after we were just talking about the thing that Mitch Kupchak has built here with the Charlotte Hornets. Speaking of built, what about Built Bar? Built Bar is fantastic this holiday season. Grab the protein bar that tastes like a candy bar, or even better than a candy bar. Built Bar is filled with so much holiday goodness, rich with decadent flavor, covered in chocolate, but also amazingly low in calories, sugar, net carbs, and fat. But it's also high in protein. You get the best of both worlds. It's delicious and it's healthy. Plus, there's so many flavors. You'll have a hard time choosing. I just got my first box of Built Bars in quite a while, and the ruby chocolate is amazing. I swear the limited time flavors, they're the best. So make sure you go to Built.com and get in on those limited time flavors. Go to Built.com. You can use promo code LOCKED15 and get 15% off of your order. Again, go to Built.com. Use promo code LOCKED15 and get 15% off of your order. Also, thanks to everybody joining us on the Award Watch List conversation that was brought to you by Bet Online. They have you covered all season for more props, odds, and lines than ever before as football season continues the march to the playoffs. BetOnline remains your number one spot for all of the sports action this season, and you can head to the new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use the promo code LOCKEDON to receive your bonus from basketball, football, boxing, UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all of the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and the easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. Bet online, where the game starts. All right, let's live the Hive Life. Coming up next, Locked On Hornets.
This is Locked On Hornets.
We just flat out eat some noodles on Thanksgiving, and they're really good.
That's a new one. I really haven't heard of people just doing some straight nudes on Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Is there some Italian background in your family? Is that why nudes show up? No,
I don't think.
Nope, just some straight Anglican nudes.
It's time for more of the Locked On Hornets podcast.
I guess before we live the Hive Life, we're going to give some love to the people in the chat. We do appreciate you joining us on this Fun Friday. And for that, we're going to get to a Fun Friday question, which is probably better suited for you two. And so I'm going to throw something at you out of the dark, but I am going to throw it at you. Which Hornet is which Ghostbuster? Amber writes in, Mason is definitely Slimer. I don't know. I know that's a lot to throw at you guys, but it's Fun Friday. I figured we'd just have a little chaotic fun before we actually get to the Hive life that we're about to live. Is that, one, a good take from Amber? Also, are there any other Hornets that you would want to attribute to Ghostbusters?
All right, let's workshop this, Doug.
Well, so I think, Egon has the most, the sort of most definitive personality. He's the smart, he's the scientist, he's the smartest.
He's the brain.
He's the brains of the operation.
He's solid. I mean, are we looking at Hayward? Are we looking at Gordo?
I feel like maybe Hayward, possibly. I mean, LaMelo's super smart. He has a crazy basketball IQ, but I think I feel like he goes more for the gut. I think
LaMelo's flashy like a Bill Murray.
Right. Yeah. That's what I think as well.
Okay, so we got those two. I think Aykroyd is clearly Kelly Oubre for me.
Really?
He's the wacky. He's the wild card.
And see, so for me, I'm kind of just a viewer of this experience as well, because I know Ghostbusters. I don't know it well enough to attribute the different characters to the Hornets players. So I know Bill Murray. I know about the Ghostbusters movie, but it's been a really long time since I've seen it. I'm happy that I had both of you two to I knew I could rely on you for this conversation. That's why I threw the question in there.
Well, then, who's the fourth one, Doug? I think.
Well, I think so. I agree with you. I think Venkman is mellow.
Yep.
I think, I could almost go Ray Stantz. I could almost go Ray as Hayward, because he's kind of the quiet leader. He brings everyone together. Ray is the connector. When everyone else wants to quit being a Ghostbuster, he's the one that kind of comes in there and breaks. So I'm going to go Gordon Hayward, Ray, Peter Venkman, mellow. I'm going to go Cody Martin. I think Cody Martin, super smart. Actually, no, he's had a couple of boneheaded plays, so can't go Martin, can't go Oubre there. Let's go Miles. I think Miles Egon.
Egon?
Well, yeah.
Who's Winston? Who's the guy that's added late in the game once the team's already?
Well, it's whoever. Together. It's Miles Turner. I think that's who they're going to add.
There you go.
Got to add him late in the game.
Excellent. All right, there you go. I'm glad that you guys could help with that, because there's no way I was going to be able to help
question.
At all.
Let's do more of those. Of those.
I do like that. Yeah, keep asking the crazy off the wall questions. We're getting some basketball questions in there as well. Thank you to Caleb Howard, old mate Sean, Chris for joining us. Chris saying he loves the show. We appreciate it, Chris. Thanks for hopping on with us here on this Fun Friday. Speaking of Fun Friday, let's do the Hive Life right now here on the Locked On Hornets podcast.
Hey, it works today.
I forgot about that from last week, and so I just threw that your way again. I'm glad that you were able to handle it, though. So thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just glad it worked. Living the Hive life, baby, stangin'.
All right, I'll go first. I'm going to go with Del Curry making it back to the Spurs game to be on the call with Eric Collins, but also he brought the three-point record ball in hand, and Steph Curry signed it as the greatest shooter ever. How cool was that? That gave me some Hive Life this week.
That's crazy. I can't believe he just gave. I can believe he gave it to his dad, but dude, Dell's just dribbling that thing through the airport. Just making people out, crossing people up in the
dunk cam, boom, just somebody at the gate.
It's just a piece of basketball history. I mean, on the way to Springfield, just take a detour to San Antonio.
Well, I can. This was going to be one of mine too. So you stole it from me, Walker, and that's kind of my point on the Hive Life, which is like I believe that Steph would give it to Dell because Dell has been such an important part of Steph's whole career. But what I don't believe is that Dell would have brought such a valuable piece of memorabilia with him into the arena. I would be afraid that somebody's going to, steal my cookie.
You set it down for a second. You set it down. Somebody picks it up, starts shooting with it. They don't.
Well, I don't know. I'd have to look and see how many turnovers Del Curry had in his career, but I don't know that he was like a crazy protector of the basketball.
Yeah, just hold on to it and let it fly.
Shooter. Yeah.
It's the highest stakes game of dribble tag or cookies of all time. with that piece of memorabilia, you can't lose it, or you lose much more than just a basketball.
The question
is, lose a son.
Did friend of the show Eric Collins, either when Dell went to the bathroom or wasn't looking, did he try and take it and spin it on his finger? Do get a couple of shots up with it? Do we think he
How many trivia questions does he have about that basketball already on deck for the next broadcast? That's what I want to know. How many little dots are on the basketball? That's what kind of Sharpie did he use? Was it fine print? Was it bold tip? I think Eric Collins probably has all of those facts on deck for that basketball. All right, Doug, I stole your first one. Do you want to go next since I kind of jumped in line ahead of you?
Yeah, I'll go next. Let me get it up on the screen. I wasn't ready to go, but now
you want me to go with David? Did you want me
Now I am. Hold on. I don't know.
That's probably bad. That's probably bad leading as a host.
This is not going to be very big on the screen, but I love this tweet from I think I may have cropped out the actual tweet from Gordon Hayward, but he was celebrating his 40-point game by saying, "Yeah, we got a great road win." And then Terry Rozier commenting on the Gordon Hayward tweet, "Yeah, you def don't run this page. You just scored 40 McNuggets." Terry Rozier is not only a certified gamer, he's a real one. He calls it like he sees it. He said, "Gordon, you have a social media coordinator, and I need you to recognize that you just dropped a 40 piece on these fools. Don't be talking about road win. You're a gamer."
Terry's great on social. I think he really knows his spots. He picks them like this and just comes in for the kill. It's it's good. Well, hashtag all fly, Gordo.
Well, and he tries to defy it, right? Like Terry Rozier acts like he doesn't pay attention to things on social media, but he's one of the better contributors on the Hornets roster right now.
Oh, none of those guys. They do the Kevin Durant. They don't read social media.
Right, of course.
Let us know in the chat what's giving you Hive Life heading into the weekend. Could be a game performance, could be something on the show, could be something you saw on social. Let us know in the chat.
All right. Well, in the meantime, while you guys are putting those comments in, David, what do you got for us giving you Hive Life this week?
Oh, man. Hive Life this week is coming courtesy of the Puma brand and Mr. LaMelo Ball. His first signature shoe dropped yesterday, the MB.01, and I was able to snag a couple. Hope the boys aren't watching this. They are on YouTube a lot. I got a couple presents for the boys coming their way for Christmas. They usually watch Mr. Beast or I don't know, Unspeakable. Okay. Doug, you'll learn all about that soon.
Now, I don't know if both of your boys, but I know one of your boys is a huge fan of Devontae Graham. Did he get an opportunity to see the big shot that Graham hit?
So I showed it to him the next morning at breakfast, first thing. I was just like, hey, check out this clip. He loves a good half-court shot, or a full court shot. But when he realized it was Devontae, he was like, Devontae, let's go! So, yeah, he was excited for Devontae.
That's great.
As we all were. But hey, guys, real quick on the shoes, I learned a little bit more about the story that goes into those shoes. They finally put out some details around the storytelling on this. They worked LaMelo's lower leg tat into the story of this shoe. If you look at it, he's got a rocket ship on his calf or lower left leg, and the way they designed this shoe, it looks like the plumes of clouds, the smoke is on the shoe, so it's blasting off them. So it goes in. So that's some little detail out there that they're finally letting loose. So the MB.01. I saw
the video that you posted or that you retweeted on Twitter of him telling the story. And I love when LaMelo is generally kind of disinterested with these kind of things. Like he just didn't seem like he was totally into it.
Hey,
he does that in the press conferences too. He's just kind of generally disinterested sometimes.
Amber writing in the chat, by the way, David's Air Jordan 8s and 11s on top of his armoire is giving me Hive Life. So David,
good eye. Good eye up there. I appreciate it. Yeah, running out of room in the old closet there. Got to put them where they got to get in where they fit in.
The shoes are nice, giving everybody some Hive Life this week as well. All right, we appreciate it. Doug, you got anything else? Did you want to bring something else to the Hive Life, or am I jumping the gun again?
No, I was going to – well, the final thing I was going to bring up was Devontae Graham, former Hornet. He's having to dig it out there in New Orleans. We talked about it before the show. New Orleans Pelicans finally getting some of that karma back that they stole from the city of Charlotte when they left the first time. They're really struggling this season, and we don't know what the situation is with Zion. But seeing Devontae Graham do great things, I always love that. I don't care what uniform he's wearing. I love that he hit the half-court shot, and I saw the video from the announcers on the other side of the ball. So if you haven't seen this clip, Oklahoma City, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander hits a shot to tie the game, a really long three, and with just a few seconds left, and it looks like they're going to overtime. So the Oklahoma City announcers one of the announcers is trying to make a point. He's like, yo, it's very interesting that, and he can't even finish his sentence before Devontae hits the 3/4 court game winner. And I just love it. I love that they broke up. The guy never went back to the point because the game was over. It didn't matter.
I know. Yeah.
Pointless.
It's what I love too. Yeah, you're right. Like he stopped instead of just continuing with the point. The shot is up in the air, and then he completely stops the entire time.
He
and
just took his headset off and threw it.
Even immediately upon it leaving Devontae's hands, this might go in, and he just doesn't finish it. And then you can't step up. You can't step on the play-by-play announcer, and so you didn't want to do that. Heady play.
He launched that thing in like under 2 seconds, I think, right? I mean, there was not much time. It was a catch and shoot from 3/4 court. So good for Devontae. Let's go. Let's get those Pelicans in the playoffs, baby. Let's do that.
That's not going to happen.
It's not. It would benefit us, but it's not.
Let's get these Hornets to the playoffs.
Yeah, let's do that. All right. Thanks for making Locked On Hornets your first listen every day. We'll be back with you Monday. Not exactly sure what we have in store. We're going to recap the weekend for the Charlotte Hornets and see if LaMelo Ball comes back against Portland. If he comes back later, we'll get you updated on everything taking place with the Charlotte Hornets. Thanks to David for joining us, as always, on the live Hive and the Hive Life and everything that's alive about this Locked On Hornets podcast. Thanks to you guys as well for listening, hopping in the chat. We really appreciate it. Go check us out on YouTube. Almost at 500 subscribers, which means we're almost to wearing the bee costumes, which is something I'm not exactly thrilled with.
And I think I saw David has to wear a beekeeper costume.
I saw that too. Can't take it back. Can't take it back.
Yeah, I saw that. So I think that's going to have to happen too. We're going to be two bees, and you have to wear a beekeeper costume.
All right, try to wrangle us in, man. That's what's happening. Make your second listen Locked On Bets, your daily one-stop shop for all your gambling needs. Locked On Bets, hosted by your boy Q with expert analysis and insight from Lee Sterling. It's free and available on all platforms. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend. We'll be back with you on Monday.